Hi, today we're going to be servicing Ford 1.8 turbo diesel, Ford Mondeo, and I will show you how to service it. There's no need to bring it to the workshop and spend an absolute fortune. So what do you need? You need only three things, three filters. So the air filter, the oil filter, and the diesel filter. So if you got that exact same car, I can give you the reference. That's the air filter. So that's what your air filter should look like. As you can see, it's brand new. Yours will probably look more black. So some people, when it's not too dirty, they just clean it with a compressor. But for the price, to be honest, it's best to just change it, and like that your engine run better. Because if the air filter is nice and clean, your engine will consume less as well. So this is the reference. I'm not sure if you can see it. Okay, so it's FL1054REC. Okay. Anyway, this is one manufacturer, but there's different manufacturer of air filter. Same thing for the other filters. So the reference can change. Usually, if you go to the shop where you can buy your parts, you just give the papers of the car and it will give you the correct parts. So here we have the oil filter. So make sure that when you give you the oil filter that it's sealed. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So this one is milled and the reference is ML4990. And finally we need the fuel filter, which is the diesel filter. On the car, I don't like this very much. So here again, it's sealed. Why I don't like this very much? Because as you can see, it's open here, but it's open here as well. So I think that's a very big problem on the car. Because usually on a normal car, what you do, it's closed at the bottom. So you fill up with some gas oil, you fit it, and forget about it. This one, you can't fill it because obviously the gas oil will go through here. So then after you have to pump it. Very often the pump on the car fails, so then you have to add another pump, or you need to have a manual pump to bring the fuel to the engine. If not, the car will never start. So that's a big negative point, I would say, this type of filter. This is why I've met some people with that type of car, and they've actually changed the fuel filter support to remove that pump and have a different kind of filter, which is actually closed at the bottom. So like that, they avoid that problem. So usually, what will be given as well are some rings. Okay, so like that you are able to change everything, because obviously with the heat of the engine, these get damaged. So make sure you got them as well. Okay. And to finish, of course, you need some oil. So the oil, there's a bit of everything on the market, from cheap to very expensive. It all depends what you want to take. It's only your choice. Pick what you feel is best. It's all depends on the quality, so it's really up to you. But anyway, what you need to get is 5 liter of engine oil. If you've got a petrol engine, obviously you will need a diesel filter, you will need a petrol filter, and you might need to change the spark plug as well, which it's nice to change them from time to time. Apart from that, the same thing. Okay, so now before we start to work on the car, we will need to warm it up. So either you start the engine and you leave it to run for a while until the engine is at temperature, or you just go for a run like what I will do now. So anyway, I'll warm up the engine and we'll see each other right after. Okay, what to do now? We're just gonna open the bonnet, and we're gonna make sure that we block the car, so it doesn't move. So if you got something like that to block the wheel, the rear wheel, very nice. If you don't have it, use a stone, a log, whatever you want. Okay. Because obviously when we lift the car, we don't want it to move, and so it can fall on our face. Okay. So if your car is automatic, put it on P. If your car is manual, put it on first gear, and of course the handbrake. Okay. So I'm raising the car now. There's no need to raise it very high. As long as we can get under, it's sufficient. Okay. Okay, just about here we're good. So now we're gonna drain the oil. Okay, now what we do, we gonna put something on the floor like here. So if you got concrete floor, no problem, but if like me you got like earth, it's best to put something on the floor, like that you won't get dirty. Okay. Put some old clothes as well. As you can see, mine is completely ripped, but I don't care because highly likely I will get full of oil. Okay. We will need to open the tap here. Okay, where we'll fill up the oil, and then we'll need a spanner of 13. When I say spanner, this, no. Okay, if you've got that, forget it. Why? Because if the nut don't come off properly, because this is open, it might actually slide, and you may actually damage it. On this side, it's the same thing. As you can see, it's not a six-sided spanner. So again, when you put it inside, it may slip and you may damage it. The best to have is this. I don't know if you can see it inside. There's six side only. So when you go on the come on the bolt, you will remove it without any problem and without damaging it. That's the most important thing. Okay. So now what we'll do, we will need something to recover the oil, because we're gonna open it now. So I've got this, as you can see, it's at several use now. This you can buy it in any shop that's dedicated to cars. They will have it for you. So when we'll open it, the oil will actually drop here, and fill it up nicely. Then after you can dispose of it. So now let's put all this under the car and let's start working. Okay, so now will be a bit difficult to film, and I'm sorry about the quality of it, but let's go under the car. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got the bottom of the engine. This is the carter. It's called a carter. That's where all the oil is. Okay, that's what interests us. That's where we're gonna open it and empty the oil. So as you can see, I've placed my spanner there. Okay, so as you can see, it's in the middle. Okay, look at it here. You got the bolt here. Okay, so that's why I told you I lifted the car in the middle. Okay, so like that, make sure all the oil goes. If you fitted the if you lifted the car by the side, in that case, later you will drop the car and you will empty all the oil. Okay, so that's where you put the spanner. Okay, we go. And right under, as you can see, you calculate more or less, but it will drop like that, poof, that it goes inside. Okay, so now I won't be able to continue filming and opening it at the same time, so I will carry on that job, and I will film a bit later. Okay, as you can see, I've opened, and all the oil is falling inside. I'm recovering everything, so we'll leave it like that. Okay, now we're just waiting for the oil to finish draining. Okay, so it's just a bit of patience. Okay, what I usually do, I will usually service the car at night. For instance, I come home, the car is nice and warm, I lift the car up and I drain the car, and then I go home. Okay, why I do that? Because like that it gets all night to drain completely, fully. So that I quite like that, because usually you know, the oil is will stay in some part of the engine and eventually it will drop, but it takes some time. I know people are usually in a hurry to do things, so they wait half hour and up, they put it back, they put the new oil, and that's it. Okay. But if you want to do it well, you can do it that way. If you want to really clean your engine as well, because if you look inside, it's absolutely black. And depending on the owner of the car before, it could be they didn't maintain it well, etc. So if you want to clean on the inside of your engine, I'll give you a tip. You buy 5 liters of gas oil that you will put inside the engine, where you put the oil. Why gas oil? Because gas oil, it's a very good product to actually clean, to remove all grease, etc. And it lubricates at the same time, which is very good. So what you do, you put your 5 liters inside, close the tap. Obviously, you close the at the bottom as well, obviously. And then what you do, you don't start the car, but you just give it a few. Um, you know, lucky if you're about to start, but then you start just for the engine to run a little bit, to turn. So you don't start the engine, very important. And because you will give it a few keys, like if you were starting, the engine will start moving a little bit, and the gas oil will go absolutely everywhere, and that will clean the engine beautifully. And then after, again, same thing, you go under the car and you flush it, and then you will see a very big difference here. You will see it won't be as black. In fact, it will be quite new. So that's a good trick, okay, to know. Okay, so what you can do as well, you can do all one thing at a time, or you can do several things at a time. It's up to you. So for instance, if you, while waiting for this, for the oil to drain, you can also change the other filters, or you can finish with that, and then after you do the rest, whatever you want. It's up to you. The car is fully accessible anyway, so we can do the rest now. Okay. Okay, now comes the time to do the oil filter. As the car is draining, there's nearly nothing inside now. So what we do to remove the filter, um, the filter is actually placed on this side of the car, and it goes like that. Okay, so we need that type of tool in order to remove it, because there's nothing to grab. So what you do, you put that inside, you tighten it. I'll show you here, because below the car that's going to be nearly impossible. And once you got it nice and tight, you remove it. After you open it again, go that way, tighten, and remove it until you can remove it by hand. Okay. So obviously you will remove that plastic cover. Before to put the new one, you will put a slight, you will see there's a rubber here, and it's always nice to put a little bit of grease around. Okay, and you fit it back. Okay, once it's fitted, then we'll put back the plug at the bottom of the car, and we rock and roll. We can drop the car. Okay. I will show you where's the oil filter. You can see it's the back of the car. We follow the exhaust, okay, and here we have it. Okay, it's here. Okay, so that's why I didn't show it to you how it works or how to do it below the car, because it's a real pain. Okay, but now you know where it is. Okay, so let's change it now. Okay, as I've told you before, you see, I put a bit of grease around, okay, on the gasket. So like that, to put it back, to put the new filter, it's gonna be it's just gonna be nice. It prevents for it to dry, and it's better after to remove it as well. Okay. When you're gonna remove the old one as well, because the guy that thought about that car, maybe he did a bit, he partied a bit too much at night the night before. So just to put a filter that way, that's not very cool, because obviously when you remove it, oil is dropping from all over the place. So make sure you got something under Okay, usually the cars have it that way, so when you remove it, it's okay, but here you will see it's a mess. Okay, so make sure you got the recipient under, and then clean nicely where the old filter was. Clean nicely with a cloth again, or paper, you know, like kitchen paper, something like that, and then put the new one. Okay. Okay, so while it was draining, took the opportunity to clean this, the cap for the engine, nice and clean, and as well the bolt that goes on the car there. As you can see, it's not damaged in any way. That's why I was telling you before, don't use that type of spanner, because if you put it here, you see there's a bit of play, and usually when there's a bit of play, that's how you get damage. If you go on the other side, same thing, there's a bit of play. So it gets rounded around, and after it really is a pain to remove them. Okay, so don't use that type of spanner. Okay, so now that it's clean, we're just gonna put it back on the counter. But now where the oil came out, you're gonna use uh, paper like that, or if you got an old cloth, something like that, and you go around the carter where this goes in, and you clean the oil nicely. The leftover, there's probably one drop or two, you clean nicely, and we put back the plug. Okay. Okay, now I've put back the plug, very nice, and we're about to drop the car. Just before we're gonna do that, let's do a visual check of the car, just to make sure everything is fine. On a previous video, I changed that, so as you can see, it's fine. But so look, for instance, you see there's all this type of rubber that we have to check. Check the wheels if you don't see a wear that's unusual. For instance, I'm looking here, and what I see, you see that part here? It's the same as the one I've changed last time at the back, and it's completely worn. So this one will have to be changed. Okay, so make sure you check your car, check if you don't see anything that's out of the norm. For instance, here I can see, you see that's buggered up. Okay, so eventually I may have to change that part too. Okay, so if you check your car like that, you will see what part needs to be changed, and you will know what next job to do. Okay, there's no need to go to the workshop. Okay, now that we have changed the filter and remove all the oil and put back the bolt, we're gonna fill up the oil. Okay, so we're gonna put the all 5 liters, and after we're gonna check the level to make sure there's nothing missing. Okay, now that we have filled up the oil and closed it, now we're gonna do the air filter and the fuel filter. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like this type of cars, because everything is so compact. We have to dismantle everything for small parts. So anyway, we'll have to remove this. So we remove that screw here, and it just comes off. Then we'll have to remove the fuel filter, the air filter, sorry. So we have to remove all that in order to have access, because the fuel filter is under. And then we're gonna put it all back together. We're gonna finally do the air filter. Okay, so I will show you now what we're gonna do. Okay, now that we have filled up the okay, now we're gonna remove this, so flat screwdriver, and we remove the clip. Remove, no, we just loosen it. Okay, and now we pull it that way. Okay, and this one comes off. Okay, nice and easy. As you can see, now we've got a bit more access to the pump, and as you can see here, I've added an extra one because the pump that's here tend to give problems. So I put a manual one, and like that I'm okay. Okay, now we're gonna remove the air filter. For that, if you have a look at it all around the box, those clips. So we just unclip them, and they're all coming off. Okay, so you go all around go. Okay, done. Now it's held here as well, huh? So there's two clips as well. We remove them. Here I'll be maybe a bit hard to remove because there's a joint. Okay, here we go. Huh? See the rubber here? Okay. So now we'll remove that. Now we've got access to the air filter. As you can see, it's dirty. Anyway, I will compare it with the new one, so you'll see the difference. And now we need to remove that box. Huh? So here, I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, there's a little something we can press and lift it up. Okay, and it's coming off. And I will show you, okay, how it works. Okay, so here we go. See, there's the rubber where the air comes in, huh? And that's what I'm talking about. So you press it and you lift it up. Okay, so now as you can see, we've got more access. Now this part you can remove it too as well if you want, huh? Or you can put it on the side to have a bit more access, huh? As you wish, but it's not necessary. Okay, to dismantle the fuel filter, it's number 11, you see at the top there, huh? Okay, you remove that, and what we will do, see, you remove the hand, and after we remove everything at the bottom. Okay, let me show you. See, it's a long, see, it's a long one, and here we go, we got it. Okay, now comes the time to mount the filter. So in the bottom part, what I usually do is put a little bit of grease again, just like we did on the oil filter. And then if you see out of those two rings, there's one that's bigger than the other. So you put the small one here. Okay, so grease and this. Okay, now filter goes on top, and the big one goes on top as well. Okay, so a bit of grease as well. If you find it easier to put it under and then the rest, better. Okay, you do it the way you want. All I know, it's a bit of a pain to mount all this, but has to be done. Okay, make sure that the rubber that's inside the pump, you've removed it obviously, because you have to change it for this one. Okay, another thing that's quite important that many people overlook, because they think, oh, what's this small ring about? Okay, so I will show you here on this, what all the whole filter. If you look here, there's a little joint. Okay, so this one is completely gone, as you can see. So that's that small one is for this. So we're gonna remove this and change it. If you don't change that, what will happen is that the some air may actually come inside the pump. So if, for instance, your car has some problem to start in the morning, especially, it's because during all night a little bit of air come in, bit, and in the morning makes quite a lot. And then in the morning you will see your car will have some problem to start, and you go okay, and it's just because some air has come into the system. So here you see the old one and the new one. So we fit the new one, and then we put everything back together. Okay, I've now fitted the new air filter, the fuel filter, sorry, and now we're gonna make sure we tighten this quite well, so that there's no air coming in. Okay, once it's done, we're gonna remove those pipes, that one especially, the top one, because that's where the fuel comes out. So that will give us an idea if there's air or not. As you can see, I've removed that fuel pipe, the top one, because that's the one that goes to the engine. And now what you need to do, we need to pump. So that's the pump here. We pump it to make sure the gas oil fills up, and then when the gas oil will come out here, we know there's no more air. Okay, there you go, it's coming out. Okay, and as I say, as soon as it comes out here, it's done. Okay, but I will also show you two different ways in case this one is failing, two different ways to make sure the gas oil come here. Okay, so the other way to bring the gas oil here in case your pump is failing, okay, is to use a pump like that, something manual. So you just connect it here, okay, and now you pull it until the gas oil comes, and as you can see the gas oil is coming. It's not full here, so now you can just remove it and connect your pipe, okay. But I will also show you a different way. Alors, the other way is on the pipe that goes to the engine is to fit a pump like that, as you can see. So you plug it here, you pump. This one for sure will work, always. So you do it and make sure there's no air whatsoever inside. If not, you will drain your battery trying to start it. You will damage your starter motor, etc. So remove all the air for sure. Okay, I'll show you 3 ways. You can't fail that. Okay, I've now connected the pipe here. It's pretty tight because, as I said before, you can't have any air in the system. Your car won't start very well. So make sure there's no air whatsoever. So tighten. So what we need to do now, we need to put the base of the air filter. You remember that box that I removed, that I unclipped here. So it's very easy. Make sure it slides in here on that side, and here it just fits in. Nice and easy. Here I've got the 2 different filters, as you can see, the new one here and the old one there. So you can see the level of dirt on each side. Okay. So I won't make the video for that because it's only fitting it. So we put the air filter, the cap, and we connect everything, and basically it's done. Okay, the service of the car is now done. This has allowed you as well to check a bit your car and to see if there's some parts to be changed, etc. So what we need to do now is to start the car. Let it run a little bit. It should start without any problem. And then after you let it run a little bit, you will have to check the oil. The oil is checked here. Let me show you. You got the plunger, and here at the bottom you've got 2 marks. Okay, you see mark here and a mark there. Okay, so you will have to run the engine a bit until the oil goes a bit everywhere, because at the moment, for instance, the oil filter is completely empty. Obviously, the oil needs to circulate everywhere. So once it's done, you're gonna check again the oil level and check if you need to top up a bit more or not. And here we go. So now you know how to service your car. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed the video that I've shown you and you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel and give me a like. And if you feel like it, you can leave me a comment as well. Well, see you on the next video.